If your back to school books aren't live by June, you've already lost the season. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Picking a low competition niche is exactly how most people miss it. Let me show you the balance that actually works. Yes, I know it's only May. That's exactly the point. KDP isn't Etsy. You don't upload a book on Monday and then start selling Tuesday. Amazon needs time to index your listing, your keywords need time to rank, and you need a few early sales and reviews before the algorithm starts pushing you to people actually searching. Parents and teachers start buying back to school stuff in July, which means if you want a piece of that wave, your book has to be live, polished, and at least starting to rank by the end of June. Working backwards from that, covers, interiors, listings, keywords, A+ content. May is when the smart money is already moving. If you wait until July to start, you're publishing into a race that's already half over. Here's where most people get tripped up. Everyone tells you to find a low competition niche. Okay, you go to Amazon, find a niche with 200 listings and publish. 3 months later, crickets. Why? Because low competition usually means low demand. Nobody's competing because nobody's buying. On the flip side, you go after the obvious winners, composition notebooks, basic planners, sight word workbooks, and your listing number 47,000 in a sea of identical products. You'll never see the daylight. The sweet spot is a niche with proven demand but workable competition. Something where the top sellers are doing real numbers, but the listings below them are weak, bad covers, lazy interiors, thin keyword research. That's your opening. That's where you can show up with quality content and actually take a slice. And that's the third leg of this. The content itself has to earn its spot. Back to school buyers are picky. Teachers are picky. Parents reading reviews at 11 p.m. are picky. You can't slap together a generic worksheet pack and expect it to convert against someone who actually put in the work. So today we're going to walk through all three pieces: how to find the niche, how to source content that holds up, and how to time the whole thing so it's live and ranking when the buyers show up. Let's get started. We're going to make a kindergarten workbook. Now, I started typing in kindergarten prep because I wanted this to be in between a pre-K and like a kindergarten book, something that parents will buy for their kids for the summer or but right before school starts. So I typed in kindergarten prep and then I click space, and it's going to tell me what comes up next, what other people are searching for on Amazon. And that's kindergarten prep workbook. Love it. So I'm going to click on that. Here I've got 1,000 results, and that's, I think, kind of it's on the low end. I think it's a good amount. If you're looking at something with only 200 or 300 results, that means not enough people are searching for it. Now, you can carve your own niche in that space. That's totally fine. You don't have to abandon it just because it's got 200 or 300. It just is a little bit harder. You've got to work a little bit more to promote that book because not as many people are searching for it. But here I have about 1,000. It's kind of my minimum. Let's go with that. And I'm going to scroll down and look and see what we have. I also like looking at this particular type or the version of the page, because I can see when it was published. Okay, so this is the ultimate summer workbook. We're going to look at some keywords also used. Kindergarten workbook, foundational skills. This was published really recently, okay? Got a couple of reviews already, 2015, so that one's a little bit older. Let's see, this one 2017, a little bit older. I don't mind it being older, but I do like one that's in the last couple of years. That way I can see, if it's a trending book or if it just was really big a while ago. Let's see, 2026. Oh, this is a really great one. Look here. So 2026, just a couple months ago, they've already got 23 5 out of 5 star reviews. That's amazing. Looks like it's doing really well. Here we have 2025, a year ago, and it's got 193 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think that looks really great. That's what we're looking for. Okay, I opened up one of these books and let's dive into really what it looks like. So this one, we're looking at 319 5 out of 5 star reviews. It does focus on the kindergarten workbook, 150 plus fun and educational activities. Great subtitle there. When I look at the reviews, no one has pictures in this one, but people are saying it's a really great book. The only 4 out of 5 stars were saying that they wish the pages were a little bit thicker. But other than that, it looks like it has really great reviews. So let's look at the back of the book and see what's in there. Okay, so it's definitely not coloring pages. It's a lot of, I see here shapes, matching numbers, some really great educationally sound activities for students. Where are we going to make this book? We're going to start here I came here to Etsy and typed in kindergarten workbook. MRR is master resale rights, and PLR, I think, is private label resale rights. Now, I start here because this is a great resource that you can use to buy these workbooks, and the person is giving you a license to be able to resell these workbooks. And you've got to be careful because a couple of these that I clicked on, like I found one that I was like, oh my gosh, I really like that one. And I think it was this one. And when I clicked on it and read closer, it did not have PLR or MRR rights. So I just had to make sure I found one that had those rights to it. The other thing you have to be careful about is when I came here, when I look at some of these, we've all been on Canva so much. We're very familiar with what's there. When I look at like this one and this one, I'm like, I've seen some of those on Canva already. And I wonder if they are just reselling, downloading what they got on Canva and then reselling them. This is alleged. I'm guessing. This is not factual, but this is just from what I've seen. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've seen that one on Canva before. I know I've seen that one. So, gotta be careful. Let's talk about licensing. This person has created their own workbook pages and they're giving you a license to reprint them. And usually they've built them in Canva and they're giving you a license to reprint them. If we go to Canva, because let's say you don't want to buy them here. Let's say you want to make your own or you want to use Canva. How do you know that you are not violating copyright law? So first of all, you cannot just click on this book and then decide that you want to use this flat out. You're not going to change anything. You need to change a lot of the book or the majority of it to make it your own. Then because this person who uploaded it is an artist, a graphic designer who created this, and they are giving the licensing rights to Canva for you to use. But if you want to resell them, you have to make it your own. So that's what I decided to do in this situation, was I took a variety of these books to make sure I had a good amount of pages. I wanted about 130. I took the time and I went through and I changed the pictures, I changed the font, I changed some of the layouts. I made sure that I made it my own. It was not just a carbon copy of what was already there. The second thing, let me show you here. Second thing that makes this book so affordable, because it's $12.99, it's pretty good for a workbook with 150 pages, is everything on the inside is black and white. Now, yes, I have printed books that are all color on the inside and they're beautiful books, but they're so expensive. So we're going to keep the cost low by making it black and white. So this is what I did, was I took this book and I downloaded the whole thing. Let me hop on over to Claude and show you what I did. I just uploaded it to Claude, said convert this book from color to grayscale, and it did. That way I didn't have to go through and change each and every one and try to manipulate it because they were all different colors, and it did it for me, and that was great. And then I noticed, because remember, we want to make a good quality book here, and that means consistency. Look at the other thing that's going on here. Look at this frame. So this frame has multiple colors, okay? Then it comes down here because I pieced together multiple different books and manipulated them and spent quite a bit of time with it. This one has a completely different frame. I came down here, this one has a different frame with a different color. So I need to remove that frame. Now you could do that a few ways. You can possibly get a white box and put it around the frame and kind of cover it up. I just went back to Claude here and I said to remove the rectangle. I said actually determine, is it better to make a one consistent one or just remove it all together? And it decided it was better to remove it all together and to just make it a white page. And it did it in just a few minutes. It saved me so much time. Here, then I thought, well, it has all the information. Go ahead and make me a description and a keyword and give me the keywords for when I upload it to KDP. So I had to do that for me too. Here is the final book. Re-uploaded it as a high-res PDF. It has the frame gone. It has, I changed the pictures a bit to make it my own. And I am at 150 pages. I'm sorry, 135 I decided to go with. So I download the whole thing, come here to JPEG. Now honestly, it's a black and white book. It's not very detailed pictures. You could download it as a PDF standard. That would give you a quality enough picture or download PDF to print. but you can also do it as a PDF print. PDF print is just a higher quality, and usually it's for pictures that are really, really giant. But this is fine, doesn't matter. Just because this is black and white, you can down it really, I've seen the quality I've downloaded is perfectly fine. For the cover, I definitely would do a PDF print, but I'm gonna go ahead and download this. Now let's look at the cover. Okay, this is the cover that I ended up with. Now, how do I come up with the dimensions? Well, I know the book is 135 pages, so luckily KDP has a cover calculator for me, and it's totally for free. Just type in KDP cover calculator. So it's paperback, black and white paper, left to right, and they ask that so that they know where the margins are. Inches, 8.5 by 11, 135, and it calculated the dimensions, downloaded it for free. Then I uploaded it here and I made a new page. So then I played around with it. I also wanted to see what other pages or what other books were looking like so that I am in the same market. So when people see them, they go, oh, this looks like the same as these other books. I'm not matching. I'm not copying, but they need to be consistent. Like, for example, I'm not going to put a bold and easy type of picture here on the front, or I'm not going to put a like swirly picture that would be like for tattoos. That's what I'm saying. It's just be consistent when it comes to style. When I came back here and I look and I see, okay, there's bright colors, high contrast. We've got maybe numbers on the front. We've got some animals. So that's how I wanted to be consistent. So I kept it with I kept it a high contrast color, really bright. And then on the back, I put the pictures. Now, I just downloaded individual images that I wanted to as a JPEG and then re-uploaded it here and put it on the back. I also added a stroke weight because when it didn't have that, it kind of looked like it was floating out there. It kind of helped give it like a bounding box to really make it more firm on the page. And then here is my main title, and this is just partially my subtitle. And I added a little panda. Now these down here, I added these pencils, and that's I found those in the elements. So all of these pieces put together creates something new. And here's the template. I put it on top, and let me show you what I do here. I lower the transparency and increase it so that I can make sure that it's all centered. So I can move things around as needed according to what this looks like. Now remember, so this outside line, that's the trim line. That's the final 8.5 by 11 cut. Okay, this right here is the bleed. So any pictures that if you want it to go off the edge, it has to go past that bleed. And then this red zone really is the safe zone. That's where you have to, or like the danger zone. You got to make sure that any images that you have are within or not covering that red zone unless you want it to go all the way off the edge. Like this down here. I wanted the crayon or that pencil to go all the way off the edge, so I make sure it goes past the bleed. And so that's how I play around with that and make sure that it's centered. Now I need to make sure I lower that transparency again. Whoops, wrong one. Lower the transparency. And then for this one, I am going to download as PDF print, change CMYK for printing, and then download. Now let's hop on over to KDP. Here I did add the ultimate kindergarten activity book, but kindergarten activity workbook is on the cover. And then I used some of those keywords and I had Claude create this subtitle for me. Coming down here, this is the description. I want to make sure that how many pages was in there. It really gave a description of what was on the inside, so parents really know what they're getting beyond just looking at that back cover. Okay, I own the copyright, or the license is basically what it means. And then these are the categories that I chose. They're what I think is pretty obvious, but if you're struggling with what categories to choose, I like to go back and I can look here at what that book I was using, what book I looked at, look and see what category that one's in. Education and reference, reading and writing, vocabulary and spelling. So I know I want to keep it in this particular kind of space. And then these are the keyword phrases that Claude gave me. Claude's my new bestie. I think I've moved on from ChatGPT. Now it's me and Claude. Okay, this one does have an ISBN. It is not a low content book because it's an activity book and not like a blank page journal. Blank black and white paper with white paper. Now, if you do want a higher quality paper, something that's a little bit thicker, then go with the standard color interior, even though it's a black and white book. But really, I think for a kid's workbook, you don't need a really thick paper. 8.5 by 11, I chose no bleed because there's no bleed on this book, no pictures that run off the edge. I decided to do glossy because it gives the front page a little bit of a pop, and this is for kids. Uploaded everything, and then let's launch the previewer. So far, looks good. Everything's centered. I'm going to go ahead and go through a few pages here. I like that the letters on the left and then the detail is on the right to practice. Okay, make sure you go through the whole book and then approve. Now let's talk cost. Okay, this says I need the minimum to be $6.59, which actually is a really great place to be in. Let's say if I go $7.95, ooh, it's going to give me 68 cents. How about 8? That's going to be making me 96 cents. That's a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to go with that price, $8.50, which I think is really good for a page for a book with 135 pages. And let me know if you have any questions.